Oh, hey, hey. One last thing. One last thing before you take this test. If you if you were paying attention to the let me get rid of this. I have hat hair. If you were paying attention the last couple of days on the magic whiteboard, ching tong. Okay, on the magic whiteboard, um, there was one thing I didn't talk about, and I must. Okay, the fact that you should be able to adjust your words to the environment that you're in. We've talked about it before, but you may not recognize it. So let me get you back there. All right, listen. Um, Remember when we did the stand and the balloons and the hand gestures? We talked about volume. We talked about voice. We talked about enunciation, and we talked just briefly about the reasons why you want to study your vocabulary. And we talked about it ad nauseum ever since. Listen, you study vocabulary so that you don't sound like a 17-year-old for the rest of your life. Okay, because if you're 27 and you're all hanging out and having fun in life, and you still sound like you're 17, you will be isolated with the rest of the 27-year-old, 17-year-old vocabulary people. And honestly, quite frankly, it's going to be a really, really tough road for you. You need to be what I call a verbal chameleon. You need to be able to have a command of the elite language, and then you can talk like a commoner whenever you want. We've talked about it before. I told you about my father in law, who really, quite frankly, could mix in with any group. He had a vocabulary to mix into business meetings for the, you know, Fortune 500 companies around the United States. He had this local tavern that he walked to every night filled with truck drivers and sheetrock workers and construction workers. Trust me, he adjusted his vocabulary for that environment and he fit right in. He really did. It was amazing, like I said before, to see the people at his funeral. There were senators, there were business people, there were sheetrockers, construction workers. You need this ability, and even more so. We talked about this too, I believe. If now it's Lakeville, when all y'all go to college, your professors will not dumb down the language of the academy. You need to know words, put them into your vocabulary, and be the verbal chameleon. Listen, I'm going to read from Globalization Unmasked, one of my college texts. Okay. Um, in structural terms, the proliferation of NGOs reflects the emergence of a new petite bourgeoisie that, as distinct from the old shopkeepers, free professionals, and petite bourgeoisie of the old public employee groups, this subcontracted sector is closer to the earlier comprador insofar as it produces no tangible commodities but serves to link imperial enterprise with local petty commodity producers engaged in microeconomics. Listen, hi, listen. The command of the language, the ability to know words, use words, and fit into groups, that verbal chameleon skill, if you will, is going to allow you to move places and go places. Campers do not study vocabulary for the 15 points on Friday's English quiz. Study vocabulary so that, later in life, you can fit in. All right? All right. A quick test review. First of all, know the definition of the word and understand that concept, please. Cat. Okay? If we talked about it in any of the lectures, please know it. Okay, you might want to go back and review all of the videos, including but not limited to things like the denotative definitions of words, the connotative definitions of words, and the differences. Can you offer an example? Okay, so there's that. Do you know what jargon is? Do you know what slang is? Do you know what regional terms are? And also, can you offer an example there? Why did I rip the pages out of the dictionary? Why did I pull the leaves off of my tree? As far as a test review, we also learned about some uses of words. We did, there's 6 of them. Some of them were in red. Don't do that. If you practice the stuff in red, the relationship will soon be dead. Ha ha ha! Where was that the other day? I should have thought about that. But remember, do the stuff in blue. Do the stuff in blue. Now take a look at that slide when the magic whiteboard falls down. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Also, one of those was to include someone in a conversation that maybe wasn't at the big thing, the big party, or in my example, the big race at Elko Speedway. Okay? So maybe Tony wasn't there. How can you include him? Please know the ways to include Tony in that conversation. That's going to be part of the test. It just is. It just is. Oh, let me have a look. Let me have a sneaky peek so I don't forget anything. I'm going to tell you no, 4 ways. Okay, listen. The $1 million question. So we know some stuff about words. How does knowing about words make us better communicators? Well, there was a list. There was a whole list. It fell down like 5 times and started over and fell again. Make sure you understand that list. Make sure you understand things like being specific and spending more words. Make sure you understand the rest of the list, including but not limited to definitions for some of those things like ambiguity. Sorry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, fare thee well. I'm going to give you several opportunities to take the test on Friday. Several, because of the Schoology problems that we're having. If you get tossed off, I don't want to say when. Let's just say if. This offhand chance that you get tossed off, then get back on there later in life. I'm going to give you until midnight of Saturday. I just want to see that this first one can work. There'll be some multiple choice. There'll be some true false. There will be an essay response. Okay? Do the best you can. Fare thee well. Keep the smile. Okay? You know I'm rooting for you. I really am. All right, cheers. We'll see you. I know. I don't know.